our criminal justice system into the direction of the 21st century.
The public should be outraged by this.
We need to use science and data in order to address public safety of violent crime.
His data and science is completely flawed.
Your data and your science is dangerous to the communities of this county.
We are very, very concerned about his policies.
You will see that not only have I enhanced public safety,
I am absolutely outraged at the lies that Mr. Gascon is spewing.
He has no business implementing laws of his own personal choice, which we voted against.
we've done so in a way that is much more both fiscally and socially responsible.
Not only is he breaking the law, but he is not doing what he is supposed to do as a district attorney, and that is protect his victims.
I truly believe that he is in the wrong office. He should have been a public defender.
He's voted in. It can be voted out.
Salute. Celebrating us going home on this Gaskin direct.
Crime is at a historic low in this nation, is at historic lows in the state.
That's a bunch of baloney to me.
And now, for an update on the recall of L.A. County District Attorney George Gascon, here's John and Ken.
John Cobell and Ken Champeau. It's KFI AM640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. If you haven't heard, earlier this week, they announced the reboot of the George Gascon recall. Go to recalldageorgegascon.com.
That's the place and the only place. They don't have petitions yet because they just served him. And they have to go through the certification process for that. And then they can eventually start circulating petitions. They're expected to do that within 30 days, now less than that, because it was earlier this week that happened.
Well, George Gascon, the L.A. County District Attorney, sponsored by Netflix, Oh,
boy. Good one. John's talking about Reed Hastings and his wife, who gave significant amounts of money to people like Gascon. Right?
Yeah, so when you watch Netflix every night, you think of George Gascon. And think of poor Jacqueline Avant.
It was the mother-in-law of the co-CEO of Netflix.
Yeah. Is that
a weird,
ironic? Reed Hastings and his wife finance Gascon, and Gascon's policies lead to this mess here. Avant was killed in her house in the middle of the night by a crazed robber-killer who'd already served 2 prison sentences this decade for violent crimes. Got out September 1st on alleged parole. And therefore he was free to storm Avant's house and kill her. Now,
one of the things that Gascon did when he became DA a year ago was he put out all these directives. And one of them was about enhancements. He wants to do away with enhancements. Enhancements are things like using a gun, belonging to a gang, causing great bodily injury. These are legal, and they've been used by prosecutors for quite some time now to significantly add prison time.
We're going to talk to Prosecutor Eric Siddall, Vice President of the Association of Deputy District Attorneys here in Los Angeles. And he is telling the world that Gascon actually sent a fundraising letter to his supporters just hours after the murder in order to get money to pass a bill to stop gun sentencing enhancements. Seriously.
Yep.
Let's get Eric on. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. We're just shocked every day at Gascon's persistence in this, and just the evil quality here. Talk about the gun enhancement bill that he wants to get passed so people understand what's at stake.
So he and his fellow prison abolitionists have been trying to get rid of the gun allegation for quite some time. It failed in the legislature last year. They tried to get rid of it completely. He has banned our prosecutors from using it. And again, this is a gun allegation that is used on the most violent and most serious types of felonies. So murder, mayhem, rape, those types of charges. It's not available for example, like if you do a criminal threat, it's not available for that. It's a very powerful tool. It's I think it's responsible for the great reduction of gun violence that we've seen. In fact, there are significant studies that show that gun penalties, severe gun penalties, for criminal, when it's tied to criminal behavior, reduces crime, deters crime, and this man just, because he and his fellow public defenders don't like it, wants to get rid of it.
Talk about like a murder charge with gun enhancements, because I think the average person thinks, well, if you get charged with murder, then that should put you away forever. But it can be 25 to life, and 25 years. After 25 years, you can get parole, and the gun enhancements keep that from happening. Is that right?
So it's more than that, because right now, and this is a big change of the law that happened. It used to be that you could only get 85% credit. When you go to prison, you would only get 85%, or you would only get 50% credit on a sentence. In other words, you had to serve at least 85%. And that's a standard that happens, for example, in the federal prison system. California has lowered it to 66%. In other words, you only have to serve 66%. And the other thing that California changed is it used to be that you would not get good time, work time credits on murder, right? Because why should you get credit when you kill someone in cold blood? Well, California changed that as well. So now they also get credits, and they get, like I said, they only have to serve 66%. So the gun enhancement adds 25 years to life on top of that 25 to life for first degree or 15 to life for second degree murder. So it's an extremely powerful tool. But, the other thing, besides punishing, properly punishing, the gun enhancement deters criminals. And one of the reasons why I think you see this explosion of gun use in Los Angeles is because criminals know this district attorney, along with his friends in the public defender's office who now run the DA's office, these prison abolitionists, they don't care. They're not going to use the gun enhancement.
So Ariel Maynor, the killer of Jacqueline Avant, he potentially, what would his charge be? Second degree murder, I guess?
Well, he actually would be charged with first degree. You don't really get to the degree of murder until the jury hears the evidence.
Right.
So right now, his max is 25 to life because he does face first degree murder.
But he could get out in 16 years.
He could get out in 16 years, but also remember, because the elder parole law that California has, that adds another exit point for him. The potential for this case was life without possibility of parole. If you were to prosecute this case, remember you always hear, to the fullest extent of the law, you would prosecute this case for life without possibility of parole. The district attorney of Los Angeles County, Mr. Gascon, does not believe that people should serve LWOP sentences in any circumstance. The only reason there are certain cases that currently have LWOP in this county right now is because of the injunction that my association did against him that prevented him from dismissing things just because he doesn't like them.
So for this case, Ariel Maynor, he may not. If Gascon has his way, Maynor would be out perhaps in 16 years.
If the DA had his way and we had not enjoined him, in other words, we had not gone to court, sued him, forced him to follow the law, this particular killer would have been eligible for parole in about 16 years. The only reason why there are strikes that are attached to this is because of our lawsuit against the DA. It's not because of his policy. His policy would be free the man after 16 years.
And so he really put out a fundraising letter to try to get his sentencing enhancement bill passed in the legislature. This is the first thing he did after Jacqueline Avant was murdered?
So she was murdered at about 2 a.m. I think a lot of this is detailed in the Washington Examiner story that highlights this.
Yeah.
He was killed at 2:30 a.m. His letter came out, I believe, at 5 p.m. that same day. So, he comes out with a letter saying, hey, give me money so I can continue my crusade along with my fellow prison abolitionists to get rid of these enhancements.
I can't imagine what it's like working in that office the last year.
I mean, morale through, we have a lot of lifelong prosecutors, people who became public prosecutors to protect the public, to make sure that the public is secure. And it's demoralizing when the district attorney is following the advice of, public defender advisors. I mean, you guys saw the news conference that he had a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about this killer, and he's saying that the system, the Department of Corrections, failed him. That he didn't, that the killer, that
he
our
didn't get
system
the intervention.
failed the killer.
Right.
I mean, it's ludicrous.
No, it makes you want to scream. I've never seen a more absurd statement in my life. He was failed by our system. I mean, what else are we supposed to? First of all, that means that Governor Brown failed him. That means that Governor Newsom failed him because they're the ones who are in control of the Department of Corrections. Right. And we have plowed lots and lots of money into the Department of Corrections. All these rehabilitation programs have been around for about 10 years. They pumped up huge amounts of money. So what failed him? I'll tell you what failed him is that the guy was in prison for longer.
All right, Eric, we appreciate you coming on and giving us more detail on this story. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys, so much. I appreciate it.
Eric
Eric
Siddall,
right, with the Association of Deputy District Attorneys, on George Gascon, who was campaigning to end gun enhancements. And, of course, a gun was used in the death of Jacqueline Avant. He went right back to fundraising for that effort right after the shooting. More coming up.
John and Ken, KFI.